There's one thing it is, but it's everything. She's like on the way out. You know, the I don't school is the fire hall.
The thing to bear in mind is it doesn't matter what energy source we're talking about. Every single one of them has advantages on the technological side and disadvantages. Every one of them has some economic things to bring to the table and some economic disincentives. And every one of them, in some fashion or another, is going to impact the environment. And the challenge that we have as a society is to navigate through this set of choices to come up with the best energy portfolio for the nation and for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And as Mr. Murtha said, we can't solve problems by yelling at each other. When I first came to Penn State, I was astonished to discover that the anthracite coal folks in eastern Pennsylvania wouldn't talk to the bituminous coal folks in western Pennsylvania. They abominated each other, and the only time they ever cooperated was when they both ganged up to beat up the oil and gas folks. We can't keep doing that. The energy experts that I talk to from all areas around the country all have the same message. In the future, we're going to need everything. And the way that we're going to have to utilize that is by figuring out, again, what's the best package that makes sense for us, keeping all of these various factors in mind. Okay, certainly one alternative is biofuels. There's a lot of interest in ethanol as an alternative vehicle fuel. Currently, the standard technology for ethanol is to make it from corn. Probably 5 to 10 years ago, that was thought to be the salvation of civilization as we know it. It's now come to be recognized as a pretty dumb idea, and about the best we can say for corn-based ethanol, not ethanol from other sources, but corn-based ethanol, is it's a transition to get us through until we figure out how to make ethanol without making it from stuff that we eat at the same time. So we don't want to be in the situation of the guy in the cartoon on the right-hand side of going back to the Pilgrim era and asking the Native Americans to teach us how to grow corn again. Biodiesel, we're in a lot better shape there. And one of the leading contenders for biodiesel is the humble soybean. And unless technology has changed recently, I believe that we produce a substantial amount of soybeans here in Pennsylvania. So we're in good position for a transition at least to some biodiesel use in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But there are alternatives as well. And I picked this picture to reveal a kind of dirty secret in the energy business. Most of the ideas we have are not new ones. They've been around for a long, long time. And this is a picture from the World War II era of somebody who converted his car to run on a gaseous fuel. We can run internal combustion engines on gas just as well as we can run it on liquid gasoline. And certainly for compressed natural gas, that's becoming a favorite, especially for bus fleets. A clean burning fuel that, if the predictions of the Marcellus Shale are correct, we're going to have in great abundance here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Electric vehicles. I think, frankly, the long-term future of energy in transportation is electricity. Electric vehicles, I think there are only two areas that don't fall into this category. One is air travel, because you'd have to imagine an incredibly long extension cord. And the other is the military, where very rapid deployment into areas that may or may not have energy resources is critical. But for domestic energy, I think electric vehicles, we'll see more and more of that, and eventually transition largely to an all-electric technology in the future. Henry Ford bought his wife an electric car. This is not new technology. For a period of time, in the early decades of the previous century, The world land speed record for automobiles was held by an electric car. To be honest, the record was 35, but nevertheless, the technology has been around for a long time, and we certainly have the potential for adapting it. Fuel cell vehicles are another approach to electric technology. Many people believe that the way we ought to go is to a hydrogen-based economy. The hydrogen can be used to operate fuel cells that in turn drive electric motors. I personally am not a great fan of hydrogen for a number of reasons, but to be fair, there are a lot of sharp and knowledgeable folks out there who think our future is in hydrogen and not some of the other things that I'm talking about this morning. For rail transport, I would also say the future is in electricity. Now, some of you who are in the audience who are fellow rail buffs will notice that this is the GG1 locomotive. It is, to this day, one of the finest locomotives of any kind ever designed and operated anywhere in the world. This was an extraordinary technological success, and I'd like to think that someplace in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania there is still a set of blueprints for this baby, because I think electrification of the rail system would get us into high-speed transport, get things off, again, dependence on petroleum, because once you made the electricity, the electric motors don't care how the electricity was made. So we can make electricity from coal, from nuclear, from natural gas, wind, solar, and hydro, and it's all the same stuff. The other important thing about this locomotive is, see what it says on the side? Pennsylvania. And that segues into the other part of my talk. We in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania could be the energy keystone of America if we put our minds to it and go to work. Pennsylvania is extraordinarily rich in energy resources, and it's also extraordinarily rich in human resources as well. On the energy side, of course, we still have abundant reserves of coal. We have what is very likely new reserves of natural gas that could be extremely abundant. Both our agriculture and our forest products industries in Pennsylvania are the source of the raw materials for the biomass. And we here in Pennsylvania are, at least east of the Mississippi, the best poised to take advantage of wind energy of any of the states east of the Mississippi. But in addition to that, if you look across the state, what have we got? First of all, we're home to the headquarters of the Department of Energy's National Technology Laboratory. We have excellent universities, Penn State among others, who are doing world-class research and development in energy technology. We're the headquarters of Air Products, the largest producer of hydrogen in the world. We're actually, this next to last bullet should have been plural. I was thinking of CTC in terms of major fuel cell companies, but we should not also forget that we have Siemens in the Pittsburgh area, also a major player in fuel cells. And there are dozens and dozens of other companies around the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania where we have the human resources, the brain power, and the ability to, as I said, transform Pennsylvania into the energy keystone of America.